All right. Hello, friends, and welcome to Keyframes. This is a visual novel about college students, friendship, and there are three love interests, so there's probably something to do with them as well in this. I heard of this game again on Tumblr. It's one of my Tumblr recommendations. Normally, when I'm talking about Tumblr recommendations, though, I am talking about the algorithm itself somehow recommending me visual novels. This one is actually something that I was interested in through a specific Tumblr user. On Tumblr, her username is Rui Draws Box, but everywhere else, I can't think of all the other platforms. I think like Twitter, places like that, it is Rui Chan Chan. A few months ago, she was posting about Keyframes. She hasn't done anything about it recently because she finished the demo, and so there's nothing else really to talk about. But she was obsessed with this game, and it's sort of one of those things where you start to like vicariously enjoy something because you're seeing somebody else enjoy it. I really loved her enthusiasm for this game specifically, and so I decided I'm going to try it out as well. I know pretty much nothing about this game. I know you're in college. I know it's like your second year of college, I think it is. I've glanced at a few of the characters, but otherwise I don't know too much. There are 4 sections to the game, each on like a specific season. And I know only spring is in the game right now. And that's about all I know. So we're about to hop into this together and see how it is. Start. Time to take a quiz, a personality quiz. And no, you're not allowed to skip this, okay? We're giving you a series of statements for you to answer truthfully, okay? No, we're not. We're not the boss of you. So let's start. First question. Someone's approaching you with a clipboard. What do you do? I would honestly freeze, and I'd watch them walk up to me. I'm hoping they're going to talk to somebody behind me, but I would stop and listen if they were for me. So I'm kind of like, Are you the type of person who cries at movies? Yeah. I've done that really recently. Do small mistakes bother you, whether it's personally or professionally? Small mistakes. No. Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody has those days. Do you often procrastinate until the last minute, even if it's important? Yes. Aw, man, your lunch order is wrong. What do you do? Depends. Depends. If it's something that, like, I either don't like or I cannot eat, I would ask them to fix it. But if it's something that I can eat, I'll be like, okay, probably more eat it anyway. You don't want to be a bother. Let's say that I ordered a burger. Let's say that I ordered a burger and instead I got a chicken sandwich. I'm eating that chicken sandwich. You forgot to write your paper and it's due tomorrow morning. I didn't forget. I'm writing it the day before. Panic, cry, pray, and then just write for my life. No, if I don't sleep tonight, maybe I can make it. Well, I will still sleep tonight, but there's a fork on this hiking trail in front of you. I imagined an actual fork. Which way do you take? More forested, well-traveled. Probably the well-traveled path. Are you the type of person that likes taking risks? No. What's your favorite time of day? Nighttime. I'm fall. I didn't know we were going into seasons. I'm probably pretty fall, yeah. These personalities are often characterized as empathetic and gentle, often thinking of life from the perspective of others. Falls might be the last person to speak, but it's only because they want to make sure that everyone's said their piece. But for all their understanding, it sometimes comes at the loss of their own wants. My camera's right in front of the screen right there. Hold on. As a fall type, some of your actions and responses are already predetermined. Okay, but don't worry, you will still be able to influence your character throughout the game based on the choices you make. Interesting. I'd like to see that in action and like what the differences are in different personalities. Now let's double check some info. Absolutely. My name's Kit. Can I change my last name as well? I can. Okay. I guess I'm in humanities. And I think this is the name of the college. So you can't change that much there. Next. They, them. Members of the cast may behave differently depending on factors related to their or your orientation and presentation. No. Oh. You want your MC to use? I guess this one? It's the most readable. You know, this one's also like pretty okay, but this is like, you will read this. These are a little too scripty for me, especially with readability if I want something that's like super readable. Like I could read this, but accessibility, basically. During some action-packed occasions, quick time events in this game? Oh no. Slow. Oh shit, it's... What? It's not even... I was expecting like, oh my god, I'm gonna have to go with my mouse. It's with arrow keys? Okay, that felt pretty good though. At slow, what does default feel like? That gives me too much anxiety. Okay. Let's go with slow then. I guess I am. Your phone wrestled you from your dream. Or rests, I guess. And you woke to the scratch of your sheets and the whir of the AC unit. Sighing, you stuck an arm out and patted gently around the blankets. Your phone was cold to the touch, and you yanked it quickly under the covers before swiping to answer the call. I think this is a friend. I think from reading on their page, this is one of my, like, somewhat close friends. I'll whine a little.
Rise and grind.
Oh, there's voice acting. Okay, hold on, because that was a little... I can't go back. Oh, this is so sad. Okay, let me... Preferences... Phone call labels on, screen motion on, audio. Turn you up a little bit more because you were quiet as all hell. I want you louder in my ear, but that's as loud as you get, so we'll wait for another thing just to see. No, 5 more minutes, Cam.
So cute. Deja, help. I don't think I have the heart to do this.
Yeah, let me turn up the volume for me personally, and then in post I'll figure it out.
Just get on with it already.
Okay, fine. Can you pretty please get up and look at the time?
Sure, why? You opened your bleary eyes. In the wash of warm light filtering through the curtains, you recognized the late morning hour stretching across the floor. It had to be well into the day now, and you squinted at your phone for confirmation. I didn't even look at my room yet. The art style is very interesting. Hold on, before we get... Puppy. Before we get... I love this one. That one's so cute. I love it so much. The, like, lines of everything, but then the actual coloring is, like, out of the lines. Like, shifted slightly to the left. I really like that, actually. Okay, anyway, phone. It's noon. It's noon.
Exactly.
What does this mean for me?
That you should probably get up?
No. Aw, do I have to?
Well, I tried.
Dude, you're too nice. Let me. Hey, you gotta wake up.
I love the little clap.
You'd better not have forgotten.
About what?
Today's Raina's barbecue party, remember? Cam and I finished buying the snacks and stuff. We're also like 15 minutes from campus. So, if you still want to ride, you should get up. Like, right now.
Oh. Oh no, I overslept. I'm sorry.
And there's the reaction we're looking for.
Thank God. It finally sunk in.
Real sorry, guys. I'll be as quick as I can.
Hey, it's okay. You've got time. We'll be waiting for you in the parking lot, yeah?
We love you. We'll see you soon. Mwah, mwah, mwah.
I actually love both of them so much. I've known them for a whole 5 minutes, and I'm like, damn, I would die for them. Also, their voice acting, both of them are so good. I don't know why, what it is specifically about their voice acting. They sound like characters that I would love. Their voices give me happy feelings. Anyway, the call dropped and he sprang into action, sprinting across the sun-warmed floor to get ready. Okay, second year, spring semester, let's go. Do I click out of this? I do. You stepped out of your apartment building, bracing for a blast of heat. As the semester was drawing towards its close, temperatures had risen in a way that left you lingering in the chilled indoors. But thankfully, today was a perfect spring day, one of the last ones you'd get before summer crept in. There was just one thing in your way. Or, well, many things, many people. At this time of the day, Rin Mayor University was as lively as ever. Students moved in and out of lecture halls, and they were clustered everywhere with their eyes on their books, their friends, or their phones. If you hadn't been so hellbent on finishing your assignments for the week last night, you would have been awake in time for a peaceful morning, and you'd be able to simply walk alongside the crowds, calm as everything. However, all of my work from the last 2 weeks had piled up right until the last minute. You played it fast and loose with rolling deadlines, but alas, the semester was steadily drawing to a close. With finals around the corner, you had to haul ass to get your assignments in. And thus, here you were. Hi, sorry about this, but can I squeeze by you? Thanks. You did your best navigating the crowd, dashing in between gaps the moments you saw them. By the time anyone realized they were in the way, you'd already rerouted, darting around them instead of barging through. Luckily, you still made good time, and it didn't take long before the parking lot at the other end of the green came into view. Beckoned by the near end, you picked up your pace and zipped down the road. Almost there.
Shit, watch out!
I had a feeling, huh? You froze in place, and as you raised your arms instinctively, a pink blur darted right past you. Whoever it was, they promptly crashed into one of the lower walls bordering the path, flipping ass over an electric scooter into the hedges. All around you, students hissed with sympathy while your blood ran cold. So much for not getting in the way. I like that they have, like, the last sentence up here. Though I keep looking up there and then being like, I just read that. Of course I have to check on them. I'm so sorry. Are you okay? There was a rustle, and the student who'd swerved to avoid you emerged from the hedges with leaves in their hair. They lurched unsteadily, groaning as they clutched their head. You extended a hand, and they stopped moaning long enough to thread their fingers with yours. With your help, they climbed back over the railing, but they couldn't stand without swaying like a newborn fowl. Oh no. Hey, are you with me? How are you feeling?
Honestly, my head really hurts. I think it's bleeding.
What?
Yeah, like, right here.
Alarmed, you reached up without a thought, running your fingers into their raven locks. I don't feel anything wrong.
You sure? I think it's behind my ear. Here.
Catching your wrist gently, they turned their head a little, and you searched again with a careful touch. There was nothing aside from the dread twisting in your gut. I can't find it. Maybe you should go see... The words died in your throat when you felt their cheek drop into your palm. Hello? Their grip on your wrist had shifted to the back of your hand, softly holding you there so they could nuzzle into your touch. We've just met. You blinked rapidly in muted confusion, and they glanced at you from the corner of their eyes, their mouth lifting into a smirk as you saw and felt. Against your skin, I read it wrong, but it's okay.
Would you look at that? I'm feeling totally fine now.
That was so lame.
Do you happen to have a healing touch?
I do. Yeah, how'd you know? You cracked a smile before twisting your hand. And what was the other one? I can't go back in this game. I forgot. I didn't even read the top one. I just read that it wasn't yeah. And I was like, no, I said yeah in real life. You cracked a smile before twisting your hand and poking your knuckles lightly into their cheek. They chuckled, releasing you to tuck their hands into the pocket of their ripped jeans.
I felt the good vibes. Thanks for them, by the way.
You're welcome. But are you sure you're all good to go?
Yeah, why? See anything off?
I mean, you just crashed into a little wall, but... Yeah, here, and here, and here too. You pointed to their right shoulder, to the left shoulder, and finally to their chest. When they glanced down, you flicked your finger up and tweaked their nose. Damn. Now you're good. And we're even.
Touché.
As nasty of a fall as that had been, their laugh rolled like a tide in the late evening, washing away the sandy impressions of the whole accident. Their unshaken indifference was reassuring to see, but you couldn't help but ask one more time. Are you sure you're okay?
I'm fine, really. Healing touch, remember?
And they tapped at their cheek, chuckling. If they could keep joking like that, then there probably wasn't anything for you to be worried about. I didn't hear the voice for this one. Hold, please. With their index finger raised, they turned to kick up the scooter next to them. After they scrutinized it for any dings and scratches, they hopped on for a more thorough checkup. They pushed off with their right foot, hand twisting the accelerator so that it started up with a low whir, and set off into a series of slow, smooth laps with you in the center. I guess we don't get any more voice acting ever. Okay. Nice. Still good. Someone's clearly not in a rush to leave yet. I'm actually running late for a meetup with some friends. But not so late since you had the time to joke around. You were genuinely concerned. I couldn't help myself. You didn't know that it was possible, but their smirk grew wider, tinging a few shades more playful as they admitted to teasing you. If you've got somewhere to be, why stick around? Are you kidding me? I can't just leave after running into you.
This is a scene straight out of a movie. One of us is supposed to fall head over heels for the other, you know?
Well, to be fair, you are the one who fell over the wall and head over a scooter, so... Really now?
Yup. Movie law dictates it. I mean, 50,000 students on campus and you bumped into me? We can't ignore that.
You're so right. Tell you what, though, you can decide who falls for who. You're romantic, so I can play with whichever part. Ooh, I don't know. That took me all that long just to read all of these. I do like that they know how to clap back every time. That's good. This one a little bit, but it's not quite me. I guess what a riot. The clips, the delivery, it was an art form that they wielded with pinpoint accuracy. You pressed your fingers lightly over your mouth, but that only drew his attention to the smile hiding there. What do you want me to play instead? You can play the one who fell first. What if this is more of a soulmates chasing each other through multiple lives thing? Damn! I mean, you don't remember me? We've been together for years. You pretend to fall in love with me? That's sweet. You play the one who fell later, but harder. And this is where I walk away, having charmed the pants off of you. What if this is more of a soulmates chasing each other through multiple lives thing? Well, would you still love me if I was a van? A what? I mean, in other lives, I might not be as dashingly handsome, or even a person. There was a breezy confidence in the way they answered you, and the easy lilt to their voice told you they were more than used to this kind of tomfoolery. It was tempting to stick around just to see what they'd come up with next. Unfortunately, I gotta go. Don't run into anyone else, okay? Am I allowed to take that as you wanting me for yourself? You didn't reply, but you didn't need to. The way your lips pressed together in an attempt to hide your amusement was telling enough. You knew they'd seen it since their mouth was quirked into something between a smirk and a smile, into something that, for all their wit, was mellow and indulgent. I'll see you around. They lifted a hand, throwing you a two-fingered salute as you stepped past. You nodded back, waving a little before you picked up the pace. You lost valuable time, and so you dared to break into a jog as soon as you had a straight shot across the green. This time, thankfully, there were no collisions to be had. Let's go? You slowed to walk off the light stitch in your chest, slipping by a group of students going in the opposite direction. Man, whoever that was over there, they are really passionate about that song. Tell me about it. As you headed between the rows of parked cars, an electronic beat filled the air. The source? A van with the front windows rolled down as its occupants rocked out to a song from a decade ago. Let's go. I'm not 100% sure what song you're referring to, and so I'm not gonna sing that. I might? Cameron sat in the driver's seat, two-toned hair flying wildly as they banged out a beat on the car door. They were one of your best friends, as well as a year above you in the same major. More importantly, they were a self-professed champion of car karaoke. When it came to immersing oneself in a song, passion was the name of the game, and for Cam, that meant there was no need to worry about hitting the right notes. I do know which song this is. Hey. The speakers went abruptly quiet right as they reached the high note. With a devastated gasp, Cam jerked around to face the passenger seat, where your roommate Pigeon laughed with delicate glee. What's Pigeon laughing? Deja was the third member of your unforgettable trio, an incorrigible tease, always looking for an opportunity to poke fun. She'd obviously been waiting for the right moment to turn the volume down. Hi, Cam. Hi, Dee. At least the lull in the music meant you didn't have to shout. As soon as you called over to them, they both leaned forward to wave. Hey, sleepyhead. We were just about to go looking for you. After a quick karaoke sesh, right? Well, it was either that or we'd have to burst into the apartment with a boombox, and I left my boombox at home. Damn. Well, don't stop on my account. As my liege Kit commands, D, hit it. The music bumped back up a little in volume, and Cameron serenaded you with a cheerful abandon as you walked over. You made sure to clap real loud when they reached the end of the chorus. Anyway, get in already. You rounded the passenger side and tugged at the door handle, only to find it locked. Is something wrong? So now it was your turn to be played with. Real mature, roomie. Oh, good. For a second, I thought I was being immature. Rolling your eyes, you rapped on the window for Cameron's attention. Cam, unlock the door, please. As requested, the lock flipped up a second later and clicked right back down. Deja's grin widened, and she propped her chin innocently on one hand. Deja... Yes? You'd known Deja for almost 2 years now. She dragged this joke on as long as she could, unless you did something about it. Ooh. Yeah, let's reach for the unlock button. Deja lurched back with a stifled curse, dodging your first flailing attempts. Hey, what are you doing? My best. You jammed your arm through the window even more, but you only barely brushed against the button before Deja slapped your hand aside. What? You reeled back, aghast, and Deja stared back at you, coolly defiant. Since you knew her so well, it was the easiest thing in the world to spot the flicker of petulance in her expression. She was a second away from smiling, and that made her all the more willing to fight you off. Now you've done it. Without further ado, the two of you descended into a full-on slap fight, swatting ineffectually at each other in a battle for the unlock button. Was it childish? Yes. Would either of you stop? No. At least not until... Okay, truce. I don't want to scratch you. Then, can I press the button? The lock clicked and the side door slid open with a beep to let you in. I'm liking the Moxie kit. What about my Moxie? You've always got Moxie. What matters is when Kit makes you show it. Holy shit, Cam. You scrambled into a seat in the middle row, noting the rueful smile that Deja wasn't quite managing to hide. Wow, what a car. Sure, she'd inconvenienced you, but it had been in the name of fun. You didn't mind a little tomfoolery at your expense. Can I hide the text? I can. Let's look at this whole thing, because wow. In fact, I'll even move out of your way. As far as I can. Yep. Okay. Sometimes being the subject of Deja's teasing meant you got to enjoy her attention for just that much longer. Camcorder to Ice Queen. I repeat, camcorder to Ice Queen. The package was received safely. Now awaiting new orders. Over. We proceed as planned. Onwards. To Reina. To Reina! You all clicked your seatbelts in, and Cameron shifted the car into reverse. Twisting in their seat, they gave a quick peppy salute before settling one hand on the back of Deja's headrest. They maneuvered out of their parking spot with a practiced turn of the wheel, looking backward all the while. It was inevitable you'd make eye contact, and when you did, they winked. I know, I'm the coolest, aren't I? On most people, this kind of ego-boosting question would come off as arrogant. On Cameron, it came off as an intentional joke, a way to keep the energy light. You and Deja had the rare privilege of seeing Cameron at their silliest, and they made sure you knew it. Ooh, I think it's hot when you do that. I don't know the way that they'd take it, though. Like, I would mean it jokingly. They'd probably take it jokingly. Cameron slammed on the brakes and you jostled forward against your seatbelt with an oof. Okay, was that not the thing to say? The sudden whiplash drew a disapproving glare from Deja. Get a grip, Cam. How can I? Kid just called me hot. Should I not have said that? No. I mean, yes. I mean, oh Lord, I am not your strongest soldier. You're agnostic. Also, you're holding up a line. Ah, shit. They stuck an arm out the window to wave frantically before switching gears and turning the car out of the parking lot. It took until you were out on the main road for their grip on the steering wheel to relax. A cool breeze fluttered through the front windows, and campus buildings rolled by in silhouettes of glass, stone, and brick. Rin Mayor was an easy first pick for many students. While not overly prestigious, it was a beautiful school set near a cozy town, couched in hazy blue mountains and forests of deep green. The academics here were no joke either. It had been competitive enough that you'd still felt more than lucky to be admitted into the pre-law track to boot. It was certainly the prettiest and coolest campus you had ever seen. The brochures had done their best to capture everything, but nothing had beaten experiencing it in person. Your first month here had been a giddy one, full of exploration and maybe a little frolicking. Campus was, to quote Deja when you'd met, picturesque as fuck. And to quote Cameron next, sick as fuck. Thanks to the mountains, there was an observatory on one side of campus and a ski slope on the other. The locals enjoyed them just as much as the students did. Fairfield was a small place, but that didn't mean it was boring. Cameron slowed down for a speed bump, and you heard the rustle of nylon bags in the trunk. How did shopping go? Deja tipped her head back to laugh. More of a sharp exhale, really. It was easy to miss these mini laughs of hers if you didn't know what to listen for. Should I tell them or will you? Why? What did you do, Cam? Why do you assume it's me who did something? Remember, in the court of law, everyone is presumed innocent before you are not on trial. But if you were, we'd present to the court a picture of a certain pyramid of paper towels knocked all over the floor. We had a defective wheel and the cart wouldn't steer right. Cam, remember, we volunteer nothing. Stay quiet. You're so right. They clamped their mouth shut, twisting an invisible key at the corner and tossing it away. Well, as an eyewitness to the crime, I've got plenty to say. He's bluffing, stay strong. Honestly, it's not like anything actually broke. The employees said it was fine, but Cam's convinced they can't ever go back to Dickinson's again. Probably for the best. You won't stop laughing whenever we pull up. Dickinson. Always in one ear and out the other for you. Cameron snickered, and as they flicked the turn signal on, Deja tilted her head to look back at you. What's up? You met her eye with an automatic smile, watching as her expression softened. She took her time putting the words together, as she usually did around you. Was your morning all right? Beyond the obvious, I mean. Well, naturally, you hadn't been set up for success today. Your room had been a mess, you'd woken up late, you had to run across campus, and you'd gotten held up by that stranger. There was a lot to say about your morning from that alone, but you did want to tell your friend. But did you want to tell your friends? I can't read, apparently. Yeah, why not? Well, I ran into someone on the way over. From where? No, I mean, I ran into someone. I didn't know them. You ran? Yes, well, I didn't fall over, but they did. LMAO! What happened? It wasn't good. I was in the way, and they couldn't stop their scooter on time, so they ran into a hedge. The poor campus foliage. But they were okay, right? Then they turned it into a whole rom-com thing. Really big on the sappy jokes, you know? Uh-huh. What's that for? What? What'd I say? You get those smug smiles off your faces. You leaned forward to drum your hands petulantly on their seats, and Deja laughed, unlocking her phone as she leaned away. I have no idea what you're talking about. Anyway, did you get a name? Cameron wiggled their eyebrows enticingly in the rearview mirror, and he scoffed. Your friends weren't the biggest gossips, but they could still be quite nosy in their own right. Cam's curiosity was born of genuine interest, wanting to know for knowing's sake, but Deja wanted to appraise. At the very least, she'd make it heard whether she thought someone was bad news. She had a good radar for bullshit, no matter the context. Crappy sales deals disintegrated under her discerning eye, and anyone with ill intent could look forward to the same. Alas. No, I didn't. What? Boo. Yeah, how's Deja gonna do any internet stealthing now? We just have to run into them again? Please not with a car. In the intervening lull, you mulled over that stranger one last time. I told Deja and Cam practically everything. There'd been little to no chance you would keep a story like that from your friends. It was all par for the course. Well, thanks for picking me up anyway. Of course, we can't miss out today. It's so much free shit. Hey, don't forget, we've got work to do first. We will. If I have a lot of Tupperware in the back, that's a coincidence, I assure you. Some of that Tupperware is mine, right? Even if it's not, you can borrow whatever. He smiled, resolving to help Cameron pack away whatever leftovers they wanted first. The rest of the ride was a tangle of light-hearted conversations. Deja and Cam were common fixtures in your life, but you rarely ran out of things to talk about. It was never silent. At least Deja had the aux, and she'd put one of her playlists on as soon as you left campus. Gradually, the trees on either side of the road thinned, and the car entered a classy residential area with quaint homes separated by large lawns and extensive driveways. Is this the one? Yep, just pull in behind that car. Cameron pulled over, fitting the van into an empty spot. With the number of other vehicles already there, you were probably among the last of the helpers to arrive. Hopefully Reyna wouldn't mind. Peering out the window again, you were struck by the suburban mood that blanketed the entire area. Man, who's getting housing out here? This is way fancier than what's on campus. Huh? Oh, no, this isn't for students. But Reyna lives here. She sure does. Deja flicked her wrist impassively, speaking with the bluntness of someone who'd seen this view one too many times. It's a legit neighborhood. Some of our professors live here, the tenured ones. Kim, I'm pretty sure your first-year seminar professor is her neighbor. No, Miss Gregory? Yep. Apparently she swings by with muffins. Man, we didn't call her a G for nothing. Oh, so you like Miss Gregory? Okay. I love you, Miss G! Cameron hollered after sticking their head out through the window, fist thumping on their chest to express their admiration. Deja snorted. So close, it's the one on the other side. Well, whoever lives on this side, I also love them. Anyway, let's get going. Wait 1 second. The locks clicked shut, and the window on Deja's side whirred as she rolled it back up. Are we really playing this game again? No, this time I've got a good reason. I said this was a party that Reyna was hosting, right? And I was co-hosting. Yep, I remember, since it was so weird hearing that. What? Weird how? You don't really do parties, Dee, not unless it's our birthdays or something. And we're here early to help set up. That means... It's an SGB party. Case closed, Detective Thicket. Case closed indeed. Excellent work, Detective Marinara. I don't know why that reminded me of marinara. Came out of like the depths of my soul. Molinaris, okay. Deja pouted a little, and the two of you turned away to giggle. Your roommate was vice president of the Student Government Board, which organized events and initiatives all over campus. It hadn't exactly been rocket science to guess the real nature of today's party. It was even easier when one considered that Reyna was SGB president, though that did bring up one inconsistency. If it's SG business, why not put that in the name? Why is it just a barbecue today? Because it's a test run. We like to run this on a bigger scale next year, so we're running it in a smaller trial first. That's why it's at Reyna's place. The other SG people know, and now you do too, but none of the other guests really do. Okay. Is that it? Nope, there's something bigger. She held one hand out to each of you, palm up. You didn't really like being touched by other people, but you made an exception for your close friends. Also, it's just a hand. You stuck your hand in hers as requested, swinging your clasped palms with a little smile. Cameron was more enthusiastic, slapping their hand on hers with a resounding smack. While you were at it, you and Cam linked your free hands as well, completing the triangle and leaning in to listen. There was a pause as Deja's gaze glided from you to Cameron and back. The anticipation built, and she gathered her words. The barbecue. It's a game at the end. Scavenger hunt. I'm asking the both of you, from the depths of my heart, to take it seriously. A scavenger hunt? Deja, you know I treat those with extreme seriousness. I know you do, but I'm asking for you to go beyond that. Seriousness? Beyond the usual? What's up with this game, D? The scavenger hunt, my friends, has a prize of $500. Suddenly, the car was deathly silent. Let me repeat that. $500 fucking dollars. Cameron's tongue darted out to swipe at their dry lips. Deja, if you're screwing with us, I'm dead ass. This is real. We, alongside the rest of the guests, are playing for keeps, and there is, I shit you not, a fat stack of cash waiting in Reina's room as we speak. If there is ever a moment to take my words at face value, it is now, okay? I am not kidding. That cemented it for Cameron. Holy shit. The car rocked on its axles as they leaped up in their seat, thumping their hands wildly on the steering wheel as they screamed. Even Deja joined in on the chaos, her heels driving into the carpet of Cameron's car in a series of gleeful thumps. The jewelry adorning her body jingled with the movement as she, too, began yelling. You didn't even bat an eye as you simply sat in your seat. The prize money itself didn't mean much to you, but even so, okay, I would like $500. But I don't want to scream and shout and let it all out. Okay, wait. Cameron came down from their initial shock to seize Deja by the forearms. Your roommate grabbed them back, the white of her manicured nails standing out against the gray of their hoodie. Game plan, what is it? You have to have one, right? Like, we're winning the thing, no question. Definitely. I already know where everything is, otherwise there's no point bringing this up. Wait, are we cheating? Deja grinned at you without hesitation, mischief sparking to life in her eyes. Some people call it cheating. I call it a utilization of prior knowledge given my role as party coordinator. That's just a long-winded way of saying we're cheating. If Reina didn't want me to cheat, then she wouldn't have asked me to help hide the items. Besides, just because we know where everything is doesn't guarantee we'll win. We still have to get everything first if we're going to grab what we need. I don't know. There was a moral conundrum at play here, to cheat or not to cheat, and the angel on your shoulder begged for you to object. However, the little demon perched opposite whispered otherwise. Your inability to take a stance must have reflected on your face. The excitement on your friends' faces washed away, leaving behind a faint but genuine concern. Hey. You meet her gaze, which was now soft and warm. And we don't have to, it's just a thought. Yeah, it's not like we need to cheat to win. That cash is ours no matter what. I suppose as long as we're playing honesty, we should... There was a sudden tap on the window, and Cameron let out an ear-splitting scream. Deja screeched and turned, flinging herself backwards against the locked door. You dodged her flailing arm as she tried to sock Cameron in the shoulder, ducking back into the middle row of seats. Christ, Cameron. Ow, sorry.
You'd better not be doing what I think you're doing, Deja.
Ooh, maybe we are? Who knows?
Damn it, Reina. I almost pissed my pants.
Reina peered through the passenger side window, her curled fingers shading her narrowed eyes. With her back to the glass, Deja looked sulkily to one side, stalling as long as she could before she'd have to make eye contact.
Why does she look so scary staring in like that?
Deja shook her head without answering, and she swiveled back around in her seat. Rolling down the window, she fixed Reina with a flat stare.
Not that I'm admitting it, but we weren't doing anything.
Oh, but you were thinking of it.
Past tense.
A likely story.
Even if I tell the truth, she won't believe me.
I can't blame her. This is you we're talking about.
Like you weren't on board with the idea.
At the accusation, Cameron only looked away, whistling a random tune.
Whatever. If it helps Reina, my lovely roommate's got too good of a conscience to let us do anything.
My lovely roommate, that's me! Reina turned her scrutiny on you, and you smiled nervously. Hi. You weren't sure if she didn't know you well enough to accuse you, or if she did know enough to let you off the hook. Either way, she relented with a sigh, her shoulders slumping as she relaxed.
Fine, I believe you. Or I believe your roommate.
I'm hurt.
Reina scoffed before finally stepping away from the window.
Okay, come on out. You guys aren't just here to have fun after all.
Doors opened and shut, and you lined up next to each other by the van. Raina paced slowly back and forth, her fingers tented in front of her as she eyed you up and down. So, where do you need us?
For starters, we've been waiting for the stuff you're buying, so hopefully you've got everything on the list.
At a heavy price, yes.
Cameron lowered their heads solemnly, pressing one hand to their collar as they sighed. You smiled, knowing they were thinking about all those fallen paper towels at the store.
Unless you guys bought something extra, we shouldn't be over budget. But anyway, if you can get everything to the backyard, we can finish setting up the tables.
We're on it.
Actually, Deja, I need you to help oversee the other members first.
No, what? They're going to ask me what to do.
That is part of our job, you know. We're their elected leadership.
That doesn't mean they can't fend for themselves.
I know, but I have to go move all the scavenger hunt items. Just in case. Then I'll come to relieve you, I promise.
Fine.
Damn.
I guess I'll handle the groceries then?
Yes, please. Deja can point you to where everything needs to go.
Can do.
Cameron jabbed a button on their key, and they headed to the SUV's rear with Deja. You were about to follow, but Raina put a hand to stop you, okay?
I've got a different kind of task for you.
Okay.
You're gonna help a friend of mine finish making these damn cupcakes.
I can do that. Sure thing, boss. Ah, so obedient. I love it. So here's the deal. These cupcakes were supposed to be finished an hour ago. The guy you're helping knows what he's doing. You might know him for it, actually. Unless you live under a rock. It's fine if you don't. It's not important. What matters is he's only one person, and I may have hit him with a really tall order. So just... She made a grand but uncertain gesture, waving one arm vaguely towards the house. Help where you can, all right? And I mean wherever you can. The clock's ticking. Is there something I should be watching out for specifically? Trouble. In any and all shapes. Alrighty, I'll do my best. Raina sighed, her head tipping to one side as she folded her arms. Sorry, it's just that my friend's sort of finicky. I do believe you'll be alright, but just in case, I've got a couple of notes, okay? 1, he's going to insist he can take care of the cupcakes himself. Don't listen to him. We need to expedite the process. 2, he's a little on the skittish side, like a bunny, so don't do anything to spook him if you can, okay? Okay then. With a jingle, she pulled a spare house key from her pocket, handing it over with a peppy nod. I leave him in your capable hands. Once you're done, come find me in the backyard. I'll be around somewhere. Thanks a bunch, Kit. And like the spring breeze, Raina left in a flurry of pink. Okay, I'm assuming that this is a very zoomed in picture of a different background because it's weirdly out of focus, weirdly like bad quality, kind of. I don't know. You step through the front door, half expecting to find yourself in a life-size version of a pink plastic dollhouse. Surprisingly, the living room was just that. An average living room found in any house in the Northeast. Bummer. Maybe you shouldn't have expected much, considering the exterior wasn't doused in baby pink. Back to the job. A sweet, warm aroma led you across the living room and through an archway on the other side, into the kitchen. There was someone stooped behind the kitchen island, with blonde hair and a green sweater. They bent even farther, leaning down to swap trays of batter in and out of the open oven. That would have to be Raina's friend. He spoke up as you entered, trying not to startle them. Heyo. Okay, at least he didn't drop anything. The door to the oven snapped shut, and with a fresh batch of cupcakes held in one mitted hand, he turned to you, lips parted in slight surprise. I would have waited until the cupcakes were out of his hand and the door was shut, but you know, whatever. There was a movement of hesitation visible on his face before it thawed into a genial smile. Genial? I don't know.
Hello? Can I help you?
It was only a couple of words, but you noticed a lilt in his voice. The vowels softly rose and fell, lending him a melody that threaded even the simplest of sentences. A foreign exchange student, maybe. There were plenty of those at Ren Mayor. Hi, that's what I'm supposed to ask you, actually.
Pardon?
Raina sent me over. She said I'm supposed to help you with whatever you need. He nodded once before placing the ray on the ray? How about the tray? On the stovetop and shaking off the oven mitt.
I see. I've got it covered, but thank you.
She said you'd say that. I'm supposed to insist on helping you. So this is me insisting. What can I do? He raised a brow as he thought, but after a moment he nodded a second time.
Well, I put the last batch in already, so all that's left is decorating.
Okay. There was barely any space on the counter when you joined him, thanks to the wire racks crowded with rows and rows of cupcakes. A number of them were already frosted, but there were plenty that hadn't yet been decorated. I'm starting to see why Raina told me to come help.
Waiting for the cupcakes to cool was the most time-consuming part. We'll be done in time.
He gestured to a row of piping bags filled with a rainbow of different colored frostings.
Do you know how to use these?
Luckily you did know. I know what to do.
Then, please, be my guest.
Feel free to appraise my work.
No holds barred?
Well, some holds, please. Don't hurt my feelings.
I'll try not to.
You glanced at the cupcakes that were already finished. Some of the designs were singular flowers made of layered petals. Others were entire bouquets of tiny clustered blooms, piped with a confident flair that made for a spectacular show of craftsmanship. Since flowers seemed to be the theme, you quickly pulled aside 3 colors of frosting, and with practiced movements, you started piping. Along the way, you switched from white to cream. Those are practically the same color, but okay. Then to a peachy blush. With a flourish, you lifted the nozzle one last time, revealing a rose that faded from one color to the next.
Alas, there's nothing for me to hold back. You did well.
Yippee!
You can carry on then. I'll deal with the finishing touches.
Returning to a rack of half-decorated pieces, he picked up a piping bag and settled in. Wherever his attention turned, leaves and petals unfurled in flicks of effortless color. Bit by bit, he cultivated a garden out of frosting. Vanilla and sugar wafted through the air, making the scene even more convincing. You're really good at this. You handed over a cupcake with a rosette on it, and he tended to it quickly, creating a cluster of wavy-edged leaves. I'd hope so. I've been doing this for a long time. How long are we talking? 10 years, maybe 11. I hope you're getting paid for this at least. Are you? No, I'm just a volunteer today. Raina knows I try to help out where I can. I see. Well, today I'm simply honoring a favor. That's a very, very big favor to call in. He cracked a wry smile and you grinned right back, before realizing that you'd skipped a crucial step. Oh no. Oh, hi. Nice to meet you. I'm Kit, they them pronouns.
You can call me Jamie. He, him.
Something tickled the back of your mind when you heard that. Jamie. Yes? Oh no, it's just I can't quite put my finger on it, but your name reminded me of something. An average name. No, there's something like... Then your stomach decided to rumble, and your train of thought screeched to a halt. There was no way Jamie hadn't heard it, but he kept piping with his eyes demurely lowered and his mouth shut. Sorry about that, I haven't eaten yet. You haven't? There hasn't been a good opportunity to. Best to remedy that, then. He reached over to hand you yet another unfrosted cupcake. Have one. Can I really? Isn't this for the party? Raina won't count them. Probably. And if she does, she's a nerd. Well, thank you. Without further ado, you peeled the wrapper away and took a bite. The cupcake was light but decadent, sitting on your tongue with a distinctly floral flavor. Okay, I understand the floral piping then. It was sweet, of course, but not cloying, something that Jamie seemed to already know as he blinked expectantly at you. It tastes like a flower. That was the plan, yes. Any other notes? No, it's really good. Then please do eat the rest of it. Suddenly, there was a rattling sound, and you leaned to look through the archway into the dining area. 2 silhouettes stood at the back door, rattling the handle to no avail. Damn it, it's locked. Told you, Raina said no one's allowed in until the party starts. Dude, I have to piss so bad. You don't have a spare key? No, but if we go find her now, she might walk you in. Ugh. Automatically, you took a step over, but before you could actually get anywhere, Jamie spoke up. Don't do that, please. There wasn't a shred of hesitation in Jamie's voice. While you looked between him and the door, the silhouette shrank away from the curtain as the unfortunate volunteers gave up and left. Why not? I don't want people in here. Okay. Raina's words from earlier resurfaced, skittish, like a bunny. He didn't strike you as the timid type after talking, but now you were starting to wonder if there was something else going on. Still, there were a few things that felt as bad as being unable to find a bathroom on time. What would that volunteer do? Beg Raina to let them in? Drive all the way back to campus? No. They don't want me to unlock the door, therefore I will not. Well, I feel bad for them, but Raina did lock the doors, so... With a final glance at the door, you moved to pick up another cupcake. Jamie did the same, though he was finished piping an entire flower by the time you got 1 layer of petals down. He was moving at a clipped pace, his eyes fixed on his work as he let the silence between you stretch on. It felt like he was waiting for you to do something, judge him maybe for refusing to help others or ask him to explain himself in more detail. There was a slantwise way to do that without sounding like you were accusing him. So, I think almost all the other volunteers here are student government. I'm guessing you're not, since you only said you were doing Raina a favor? That's correct. I'm not either. Deja, the vice president, I'm her roommate, so we came together. Us and... There was that rattling again, from the front door this time, and it was followed by the familiar scrape and clunk of the lock turning. The party's not starting, is it? Wiping your hands, you walked briskly into the living room, intent on investigating, only to hop aside as the door swung open much faster than expected. Excuse me. Without further ado, a student dashed right past you, disappearing down the hall. A second student leaned through the door to shout after them, still holding a spare keyring. Raina says we get 5 minutes, so hurry. Whoa. They flinched, realizing they were standing next to you, and you put your hands up in an automatically placating gesture. Hi. Hi? Wait, how'd you get in here? Oh, Raina asked me to help out. You answered automatically, and the student gave you a second, more discerning look. Uh-huh. Well, as long as I'm waiting for my friend, I'm gonna sit. The front door clicked shut behind them, and while you quietly reached out to relock it, they moved across the living room, only to glance into the kitchen and pause, perking up with evident glee. Yo, cupcakes! Did you do all this? No, I just started helping with the decorations. Yeah? Who made them then? If they hadn't spotted Jamie yet, it meant he'd left the counter where the cupcakes were. You couched your answer I've never heard of that before, in a little lie of omission, walking closer. Someone who owned Raina a favor. That's why we're all here, am I right? They chuckled conspiratorially, and before you could get around them, they stepped into the kitchen. All right, and on that cliffhanger, I'm gonna leave you guys there. Will they find Jamie? Where did he go anyway? Tune in next episode to find out. I know I've written notes for myself for the ending of this and what all to say, but I still actually saying it sounds so lame. But anyway, I'm really enjoying this demo and I hope that you are as well. I'm excited to see more of the game, so thank you for watching this episode. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one for some more keyframes.